No, don't.
Okay, happy Tuesday, guys. We are jumping into the last Dream Team chat for March, and I'm really excited for today's topic because all month long, we've really been diving into the theme of rebooting your business or stepping back into your business or recommitting to your business. And so for the last Dream Team chat of the month, we are taking it even further. Last month, Nancy was on and she was talking about she was talking about relaunching like with your team, and that was super amazing. And then today we're going to go even further and talk about stepping back into or relaunching or refocusing on sponsoring. Okay, and this is really important in the last few days of March as we have this amazing $25 join special. But really, I want you guys to carry this message on throughout the entire rest of the spring and summer catalog season, or really just for your business going forward. And so the theme that we have to relaunch or refocus on sponsoring is a reoccurring theme that you will find yourself sitting at multiple times in your business. I know I can speak for myself and even for Brianna. There are many times in your business where you have to kind of look around and refocus, and by refocus, I mean like really hone in on a certain topic or task. Okay. And so today we're specifically talking about focusing really hard on sponsoring. And so put in the comments if you have anyone on your team, if you've sponsored anyone so far in your Scentsy journey, put it in your comment, put it in the comments. Okay. I just want to see, I know some of you guys are leaders and you have a team. Okay. So yes, awesome. See, we are building our businesses, and that's super important. Okay. But one thing that you'll notice, if you haven't noticed already, is that our business kind of goes in cycles. Okay. So something happens, we get new customers, like maybe a party or an event, or, you know, you just get a new LTO launches. And so you have new people ordering or something, right? And you get new customers, and that's really exciting. And your PRV is high. And then as you go, you're building relationships with these customers, and they're learning more about Scentsy, and they're trying new things. You guys are chatting more. And so then maybe they host a party, or then maybe they join Scentsy Club, or even that they join your team. And that's really exciting. And then you have this new relationship with them where they're either a VIP or they're your new teammate. And so then you have that relationship, right? And then it comes to a point where you're needing to look for new customers again, right? And so we've talked so much about that. In the last few months, we've really talked about how to meet new customers, how to increase your customer base, how to network, right? How to have parties, different ways to work your business. We cover that pretty extensively. Probably like 8 out of 10 of our training videos are on that topic alone. Yeah. Okay. But not often do we talk about this season where you're needing to sponsor more. You're needing to focus on not just building your customer base, but building your dream team. Okay. And we do this because while we recognize we need to build new customers, and that, oh, it's not as exciting as it once was for this pool of customers, it's actually the same thing for your team as well. Your team goes in those cycles as well. And I'll give us a little pat on the back and say, we have a really awesome team here, and our team culture is really fun. And we stay pretty engaged by doing these dream team chats and get-togethers and fun things like that. Right. And oh my gosh. Sorry, it just popped up, and we're hoping we don't have a do-over of what happened a few weeks ago. Okay. Anyways, so I think that we do a pretty fun job of keeping things fun and exciting in here. Okay. But that's still just about 10 to 20% of our team in its entirety. Okay. So the other 80 to 90% of our teams are fizzling out, or not as excited, or not working as much, or they're not even going active once every 12 months. And so every month we see that we have more consultants falling off. Every month we get emails that they don't want to be consultants anymore. Every month we recognize that people are less engaged in their business. And so what does that do? That leaves us looking at our team, looking at our roles as leaders and saying, well, we really need to focus on sponsoring new consultants. Because here's the thing, it's a lot easier to find someone from your customer base or your network and bring them onboard them, get them excited and get them going than to find someone who joined a year ago and hasn't done much, and to get them recommitted, re-excited, having a relaunch party and working their business again. And I'm not saying that never happens, but it actually is a lot easier to find a new relationship or nourish a current relationship, bring them onto your team and train them and onboard them properly and get them excited. Okay. I'm not saying that someone relaunching their business will never jump back in and do amazing things, because absolutely, it actually happens. It happens. Okay. Even here on our team, it happens. Okay. But there are going to be seasons in your business where you have to look at your business and recommit to sponsoring.
Yep.
And so I want to encourage you guys and myself and Brianna, all of us, to adopt this effort to be extremely intentional about team building.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's really all it is being extremely intentional about team building. That looks like talking to people about it more, talking about your business more, both in real life and on social media. That means asking and offering. That means sharing the different areas and perks to joining. That can be free and half off Scentsy, friendships, connection, extra money, paying a bill, doing a date night, right? Sharing that consistently, offering it often, meeting new people with the intention to build your team. Okay. And this doesn't mean that we're cold messaging people. Okay. We have plenty of videos on sponsoring techniques. Yeah. Okay. And we're not going to get all into that today. I want to just really encourage you to have an attitude of intention and focus on sponsoring, because here is the thing. When you intentionally focus on a certain activity in your business, you do produce results. When you focus on increasing your network of people, and you are really focusing on that, you're networking online, you're signing up for an event, you're trying to book a party, you notice that your network actually increases. When you have an intentional focus to increase your PRV, and so that week you are following up and offering certain bundles and trying a grab bag and, doing all the things, you notice an increase of your PRV. What you put your attention to does grow. And so there come seasons where you have to intentionally focus on sponsoring. And so that looks like a lot of different things. Okay. But I want to encourage you guys to continue to share, because it is a huge, sponsoring is a huge area of connection. We have to connect with people deeper than just buying Scentsy or just joining. Okay. These have to be connections that we intentionally build and offers that we intentionally offer for a reason, right? We're not cold messaging. We're not just copying and pasting the same message to everyone. No, but every day you can reach out to 1 or 2 people and offer it to your customers, to your network, the people you're already having conversations with, the people who are giving you orders, the people who are commenting on your VIP group, the people who get in on every LTO, the people who love their buddies, who love their washer whiffs, your friend who just had a baby and doesn't want to go back to work, right? These are all opportunities that when you are intentionally focusing on, you have the opportunity to offer what we have, which is the opportunity of a Scentsy business. Okay. And so it's, again, trying to do things arrows out, where you are trying to find solutions for people, or the offer that you're giving is genuine. It's from the heart. You really do think that they would love Scentsy because X, Y, and Z, right? We don't want to be spammy or icky about sponsoring. Okay. But we also have to know that this is literally just an amazing opportunity that we can offer. and they can say yes or no. It's just like, if you were going shopping at Old Navy and they were like, hey, you have a 50% off coupon. Do you want to use it? You know, they're just offering. Okay. And it would be silly of them not to offer that. Just as it would be silly of us not to offer, just like we offer Scentsy Club and we offer a 6-pack of bars and we offer these amazing bundles that we have. It's just another thing that we can offer, but we have to be intentional. Okay. And I think a lot of times we start doubting ourselves as leaders. We start doubting that we are a good sponsor, that they would be a good fit on our team, because maybe you don't feel like you are amazing at being a sponsor. And I just want you guys to try to get that out of your head, because this is a learning opportunity for all of us. No one just starts off amazing at being a sponsor. It's something that you learn and grow with time. And I will say, the more you offer and the more you make sponsoring conversations, or just sponsoring in general, a lifestyle, the more confident you get. You get more confident the more often you offer, the more new consultant trainings you do, the more times you answer questions about join kits or what it entails. Okay. And so you're never going to become a pro if you're always like straying away from it. So I want to just really encourage you guys to step into this lifestyle of sponsoring. And actually tomorrow I'm going to share on the team page this, it's an older Scentsy video. It's like probably 9 years old now, but it's Katie Farner. And you've seen it, right? She does an amazing YouTube video called The Lifestyle of Sponsoring or something similar. And she really talks about how it is a lifestyle. And you even mentioned the other day how you marry you marry Scentsy into your life. Okay. And so you marry sponsoring into your life. You figure out ways that.
So no, I was just adding.
You figure out ways that you can plug it in and offer it. Okay. And what happens when you start sponsoring on a regular basis? Let's say one person a month. Okay. You increase your frontline by one person a month. First of all, by the end of the year, you have 12 new frontline consultants. Okay. So that's amazing.
So amazing.
How would it look like a year from now for your team at least being 12 people bigger? At least. Imagine what that could do for your business. That's amazing, right? And then you're not even talking about any teammates they recruit, right? Or an awesome month where you get 2 here and 2 there and 2 there, right? So at a minimum, if you can sponsor one new person a month, that's 12 new frontline consultants that you now have in your organization. Let me just mention that you get paid the most on your active frontline. Okay. So your paychecks are certainly going to get bigger, but beyond that, and beyond getting paid at title and promotions that happen by increasing your frontline. Okay. Beyond that, your confidence has soared. Okay. Because you're seeing results. Beyond that, your team has new, vibrant energy, okay? Because you have new people who you're training and they're seeing success and they're jumping on the dream team chats and they're commenting on the team pages and they're all excited. And the next thing you know, you're leading this awesome organization and they're fired up and they're excited and they love the Scentsy life, right? And then those people who were already on your team and maybe they're sleepy, they start waking up maybe here and there, right? And they get excited again. A new LTO launches and they're excited about it and they sell it. And then all of a sudden your team is just buzzing with energy. And it happens and it goes in cycles, right? And so if you are in a season where you're like, oh, my team is so tired. Oh, I'm so close to being paid at title. I just need one more active frontline. Well, girlfriend, this is your season to really go hard on sponsoring, to really focus on sponsoring. And I don't mean a season as in 1 month. Okay. I mean this catalog season. This is the season where you really buckle down and you grow your team, because before you know it, it's going to be the fall and winter. And we're going to be in an incentive season to earn a trip. And we're going to be hustling and bustling. And we're going to be fired up from the new fall and winter catalog and the harvest brochure and the holiday brochure. And I know it's like not even summer yet. And so to already talk about that, but like we've been around long enough, like it happens, like we're almost there, you know? And so I want you guys to know that focus, like laser focus and tension right now is going to pay off in big, huge ways, but you have to commit to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that brings me to Bree.
Yeah.
Because I promise you guys, it is such a gift to you and your organization to just focus on this.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that I think is important to add, and it goes directly to what she's saying, I think there's two lanes in our business, right? With PRV, I feel like PRV is that while we are building relationships within our customer base, and that is the goal. PRV, when we're doing follow-ups and stuff, we're looking for an instant gratification, right? We have those relationships toiled and we're messing with them and stuff, but realistically, we're looking for an instant gratification of sales. And that's why we're following up and things like that, right? But when you look at the sponsoring aspect and specifically having joint conversations, that is a marathon type activity, right? Because the day that you ask somebody to join your team is very unlikely the day they're going to join. Okay. And so when Alex is talking about looking forward at the fall and winter and the incentive period, those are literally the months that those people are going to come to you, or you're going to revisit those conversations, and they're going to say yes at that point because you had the conversation with them tomorrow, right? You had the conversation with them 6 months prior and you planted the seed. And so it is a marathon. It's not a sprint to the finish line with these joint conversations. It's a intentional focus on what you're hoping to produce in the future with these potential teammates. Okay. So when you go out and have these joint conversations, I want you to set proper expectations with yourself about what it's going to produce in the now, because we are all instant gratification driven at some level. And I know for me, even with sponsoring conversations, I struggle with them still to this day, like super vulnerable, real moment here. I struggle with sponsoring conversations because I crave instant gratification. I so desperately want somebody, I want to have that conversation and then be like, yes, joining now, and be like, woo, woo, okay, and cool. But that's not how it works 9 times out of 10. Okay. And so setting proper expectations and just recognizing that it happening in the future is actually super beneficial for your business as well. It doesn't have to happen now. And timing is everything. And that brings me to my other point, which is somewhat wrapped up in what I actually need to say, but you made me think of some things. Sponsoring comes in seasons. And this is a really important concept that we were talking about at this retreat that I was just at about, hear me when I tell you, this retreat was all superstar director. So all top of the compensation plan, right? People with big businesses who were sitting there talking about how they're struggling to sponsor people, right? And it was a very real conversation of what's going on in the world, what's affecting this, what am I not doing that I should be doing? How are you sponsoring people? Those conversations, right? And the reality of it is, and what we kind of landed on, not necessarily the answer, but what we kind of just agreed to was that sponsoring is seasonal in terms of sometimes you're going to have months where you have 3, 4, 5 people joining your team, 2, 3 people joining your team, right? If that's a bigger number than what you normally do, you're going to see an increase in people joining. And then there are going to be months where you don't have people joining at all, but you may be planting the seeds, and that is the important part, is the planting the seeds, right? We do want people to join, but if we continue to grow relationships and stuff, we will see that blossom later. But truly, we go through seasons in our sponsoring journey, and we go through seasons in people actually joining. What we should not be going in seasons with is us having joining conversations. Okay, so you should never put joint conversations on the back burner. It should never be like, okay, I'm taking this season off from having those conversations and catch you next season. No, I'm talking about people actually joining your team. That happens in seasons. Just like when we talk about the dip, or we talk about sales are kind of slow this month or whatever, the people not booking parties, like that's a big one. It's like sometimes the timing's just off. Sometimes it's just not a good season for your customer base or the people around you, or just in general. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of examples of how that works, right? And so we have to be gracious with what we can't control
Mhm.
and recognize what we can control and put feet to the floor and make sure that we are doing what we can control in our business. And that is having joint conversations, offering the opportunity, presenting the value of this business, and letting people come to us, or being open enough to revisit the conversation at a later date. Like, that is your purpose. That is your job as a Scentsy consultant, is to offer that to them and give them the space to be able to revisit it when the time is right. Okay. Um,
It's certainly not the time to quit or take a break when that
no.
happens, because then what happens is when it's popping and bustling again, you're playing catch up and you're
Yeah.
having to climb uphill.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're having to plant the seeds in the fall and winter.
Yes.
When it's your busy season, when in the fall and winter, you should be cultivating, you should be, your business should be growing taller in the fall and winter, right? Right now is a season of building wider.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is bringing the people in, having those joint conversations, watering,
Because
right?
they're still watching, even if they're not joining or purchasing or partying, or even for your team, if they're not showing up, okay, they are still watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now is not the time to also take the season
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And one of the big reasons that we wanted the idea of coming up with this sponsoring start over topic was, and I see Sharice kind of alluded to it a little bit, is this idea of, I feel like a lot of leaders are in a season where they feel like their team has just kind of like disappeared. And it's like, where is everybody? What happened? And I think a couple things come into play, and without making like direct assumptions or whatever, because there could be a lot of different factors. And to be honest, there probably is a ton of different factors. But overall, I think that for the most part, people are going back into the workforce, because Scentsy hasn't shown them or given them enough opportunity, or enough, Scentsy hasn't been the vessel in which they need to provide for their family, right? Because with inflation and everything going on, it's not that Scentsy can't be that vessel. It's just that it hasn't presented itself to that person yet, or won't. I don't know. But I think a lot of people are feeling that, okay, because they can go work a 9 to 5 or some shift work and make that paycheck, and it's easy. It's easier, right?
Mhm.
Versus Scentsy, where you have to apply yourself. You have to commit. I think Scentsy, I think it's a lot more fun than a 9 to 5. I think that it's a lot more rewarding than a 9 to 5, but don't get it twisted. I think that there's a lot of effort and a lot of work and a lot of commitment, and honestly, a ton of accountability that you are personally responsible for. Because when you are in charge of your own paycheck, a lot of things can go haywire real fast.
Yep. So true.
Okay. So there are people who are not ready to make that commitment to Scentsy. And we have a lot of people who are kind of making the shift from what COVID was, the COVID time period, to what Scentsy looks like today. And it's drastically different, right? We went from a super high to now, I don't even want to call it a low. We're just evening out.
Yep.
Okay. We're just reckoning what happened in 2020 and 2021. And that it's a good thing. We can't
Yes.
stay up there. We have to find
Yeah.
the new floor for which we
Yep.
stand. Okay. And so that's part of the reason why we wanted to do this sponsoring start over, was to encourage you guys and just to say, hey, we see you, we know that this is going on, and it's not on you as a sponsor,
Mhm.
but what is on you is how you continue to move forward. Okay. And so continuing to sponsor people, because I see it, Alex said it, but you guys, we have to recruit the many to find the few. Okay. So if you have a stagnant team right now, if you have a team that is not producing, then that's on them, and it's not anything that you did, because a rock star will come running out the gates to continue working their business.
Yep.
So if your team isn't having a rock star in it, then you got to keep looking,
Mhm.
right? You keep sponsoring. So anyways, okay. So all of that actually helped me get to my actual point. So with sponsoring, here's the thing. You can pop up with your customers. I feel like it may not always work, but you can pop up with your customers in a month and a half after not talking to them. Be like, hey, I'm so sorry. Things were kind of crazy. What do you need? right? You have to rebuild relationships most of the time, but with sponsoring, there's a level of accountability that is required of you, if you want to actually see the fruit of your labor produce something in your business that looks like life-changing money, that looks like a continued growing team. Like, that's the thing, is like, we want our Scentsy team to grow, but we're not watering it. And what happens when you don't water a plant? It dies. And your team is the same way. Okay. So if you don't hold yourself accountable to showing up for said team, if you don't hold yourself accountable to continuing to grow your said team, then it's going to die. And that's not to put any responsibility on you for what other people are not doing, but here's the reality. If you are constantly bringing in new people, like Alex said, one person a month or double it or whatever, if you are bringing in that amount of people, you are going to have a handful of rock stars in no time at all. And those rock stars are going to inspire other people to get moving and grooving. And those rock stars are going to sponsor new rock stars or going to sponsor new people. And all of a sudden you have this balance of people who are hobbyists and putting in their 200 every few months. And you have these people who are doing pretty well and figuring out the game. And then you have these rock stars who hit the ground running and are promoting and all this stuff. But you will never find any of that if you are not opening your mouth about the opportunity, okay, and holding yourself accountable to what needs to be done to have all that, right? I actually need to see my note again. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, sorry. It's like one sentence. So not super great notes on my part. So the big thing about sponsoring is that nobody's going to do it for you, right? Sometimes with our PRVs, another consultant can post something about an LTO and I didn't have to do any work because all of a sudden my loyal customer is coming to me, right? That doesn't mean that you don't have to do work, but nobody's going to be like, go join Brianna's team. Like, she's a really great leader. And like, nobody's doing that for me. Right. So if I'm not talking about it, if I'm not staying consistent in my business, if I'm not constantly trying to get new customers, building relationships, offering the opportunity, talking to people about what's possible, showing people what's possible, if I'm not doing any of that, if I'm not sitting down in my office, if I'm not dedicating time to my business, I'm not bringing on new people. And if I'm not bringing on new people, I'm watching my team, like Alex said, get lower and lower, right? And on my part, right, the active frontline part, building my frontline. The rest of the team is great, that's fine. But truly, you are looking for people who you personally sponsor, right? Those are people that you have direct influence over. Those are people who you have relationship with, because if they joined you for a reason. I don't care if they found you on Instagram, they chose you, right? So what is that purpose and how are you tapping into it so you can lead them well, right? And that's the thing about sponsoring, is that it's not just asking somebody to hit a join button and you're the name on the workstation. It goes a lot deeper than that. And it actually requires you to commit yourself to leading in such a way that inspires them to do something different than just saying every once in a while, hey, I'm a Scentsy consultant, right? We want them to have a fire inside of them that is produced because you have shown them the value of this company and shown them what's possible. And you can't do that if you're not holding yourself accountable to the tasks that actually need to be done in your business. Yeah, Erica said it, show the way. When we know the way, we show the way, right? And because we're going that way. And so it's so important that we make sure that regardless of the joint conversations that we're having or whatever, that we're staying true to who we are as leaders and showing up for our team, talking to our team, right? It's like it has to be not just, you can't just like pull people in and then like continue to go out and get more people and just throw them in the basket and not do anything with the people in the basket.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Katie said, I do, you do, we do. I love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
And this brings me to my last point. when you start hitting the ground and start sponsoring people, especially when you're looking at a stagnant team, when you start doing that, you will inspire people on your team to start sponsoring as
Yes, you
well.
will.
Okay, so if you want your team to grow magnitudes, you first need to take control over what you can do. Open your mouth, talk about your business, and sponsor people. And then tell the people around you what you're doing,
Yep.
how you're doing it, showing them. Because nobody else is seeing in the workstation the number go up. Nobody else knows that you're sponsoring except for the welcome post on the page, which is great, right? But if you're not telling your team, hey, listen, so and so joined because she saw me on Instagram, or so and so joined because she's been a really great customer of mine and I told her what was possible, right? That is so important that we do that to the people around us that are already a part of our team, and that we are showing them how we continue to sponsor, because bringing in those new people is what grows your team into something that is like the most beautiful thing ever. Okay.
So good.